I realized that my loss on that trading was 50,000 rupees.
50,000 1995.
1995, when my monthly salary was 1,600 bucks.
What still made you feel that you should start this business in the financial planning and wealth management?
Why I sacrificed a cushy job, well-paying job, to start something which I could create real impact in people's life. And it's not important how much I know. It is more important than how much I care. So I actually care for people, design a solution that will help him achieve his life's goal. That's the differentiation that I saw.
You are already doing it through the mutual fund route, on a much larger scale.
If you actually want to do something good to the people at large, you had to build a model which is very efficient. So we clearly decided we do not want to meet client in person. And now in 2013, you are witness, it was so hard to convince people because there was no video conferencing. So if you recall, we were the first one in the country to record the conversation and share the audio link with the client, telling them if you wrongly advise, you can sue us. That's how we started building trust. And that's the journey that you have. We started, in a way, India's first truly online assisted financial planning platform. So I would start by saying only one sentence: better late than never.
Welcome to a first episode of Fincast, brought to you by the Fincart. This podcast is not about fund return, market trend. It's more about personal biasness and the changes with the money happens over a period of time with us. So today we have our founder and CEO Tanwir Alam, who spent almost 25 years plus in the mutual fund industry as a merchant banker or as a businessman, to starting his journey at the age of 20s, and now he's 50 plus. So we'll try to understand what has been his experience during 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s with the money.
Thank you, Ravi. In fact, this journey has not been alone. You have had a great contribution to Fincart, and literally we have built this company together. So thank you for that as well. And I'm very happy that we are doing a first podcast here.
So I still remember when I came for an interview and I see there were almost around 10, 15 people. I mean, though the office was very small, the 10, 15 people were there. So what made you to decide, I've not asked this question earlier actually, what made you decide that I would be fit to be a financial planner or a wealth manager who joining you hand for such cause?
I think it's a very good question, and it was a very debatable one. If you remember, we interviewed a lot of people, and we did not just interview. We asked people to make financial plan.
Right.
Okay, we actually gave you a real financial plan.
Yes.
Each
Correct.
one different, and you had to come with a financial plan.
9 hours interview.
Correct. The interview lasted for a long time.
Uh,
Eventually, we zeroed on 2 people, and the other guy, comes from South India with a good communication skill also, and equally good in financial. You're a certified financial planner also. So, and we were at a dilemma because we felt that both were equally good, you and the guy. So me and at that time Anjum used to come.
correct. You're part of the interview. as well.
Part of it. So Anjum and we said ki we are so strong on both of them. Let's blindly write a name on a chit and we'll open the chit. We'll not talk to each other. So incidentally, we both wrote your name, and the decision was final. And why, I'll tell you, because to us, the values of managing people's money was very, very important. And we were strongly clear in our mind that we will not be another company just focused on selling product. We are here to create impact. We are here to help people achieve their life goals and ensure that his dreams are all fulfilled. And if we can be a small part in that, we will feel good. And you resonated the same thing in your planning and your discussion. And perhaps that's the reason we hired you.
And I still remember that day. It was May 2013, and a very small office. And I mean, you were the only one who were there. Zoe was there actually to look after for the interview, and you were trying to work out something on the financial planning piece to solving the India problem. So, what was running in your mind that point of time? How you started this idea?
So I think what I did was trying to rewind myself, because when I started the business, I was 40 plus, okay, just 40. And what was going in my mind is, how do I help people avoid the mistakes that I have done in my life? And if I am able to successfully do that, that will help the audience not only to live a better life, will help them to achieve all their aspiration with limited amount of money. Okay, most of us, the larger part of India, comes from the middle class, as we say. Okay, and they have a lot of dreams, but resources are limited. And if you can plan that resources, there's a great possibility that you will achieve all your dreams. That was going in my mind, and keeping that in mind, I prioritized solution over selling product.
सो वी हैव सीन व्हेन एनी बिजनेस गेट स्टार्टेड, तो थोड़ा सा आप बिजनेस के बारे में बताइए कि जब कोई भी ऐसे फाउंडर अपना बिजनेस स्टार्ट करता है कि व्हेन इज द एज ऑफ 40s और मे बी इन द एज ऑफ 30s, सो व्हाट रन्स इन द माइंड? आई मीन टुडे वी टॉक अबाउट लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग, लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स वी आर ट्राइंग टू एड्रेस फॉर द लॉट ऑफ पीपल, पर वो क्या दिमाग में चला दो? व्हाट समथिंग किक्स एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम?
See, there is two things which was going in my mind. So, and I am going to relate to my own personal experience. One is, if you are actually following to help people in their life, I think my thought was, if I can do that, then business model automatically will get established. So in today's time, people talk about pain point, people talk about uh, problem solving. I mean, to be very honest, we were in a business of managing money, wealth management, which was existing pre-independence, right? There was nothing new we are doing. But what was going in my mind was, how do I ensure that I can help people manage better? Okay, two, the times had changed, because if you actually relate, when I look at my father's time, okay, they had limited aspiration. And I very clearly remember, when we got a first phone in the house, there was so much excitement. When we got a first TV, there was so much excitement. Now if you look at that current generation, these are given. Okay, so the aspiration level of India had changed drastically, and at that pace the money had not changed, earning had not changed. It had started to grow, earning was it trying to, the earning level were increasing, but not at that same pace. It was growing at inflation level, not at the aspirational or lifestyle inflation level. So hence you had to have a structure which will help them to manage the money in that way, okay, and achieve all the aspiration. That was going in my mind. Two, I said, the biggest challenge was in 2009, the entry load in mutual fund dropped. So if you actually want to do something good to the people at large, you had to build a model which was very efficient. So I had only two goals in my mind. Can I deliver this value proposition in an efficient manner? That was the goal in mind. And that is where we started, in a way, India's first truly online assisted financial planning platform. That was the core of doing that, and I'm very happy that we took that bold call. Okay, and in strategy, what I've decided, you have to clearly decide not only what you want to do, you have to clearly decide what you don't want to do. So we clearly decided we do not want to meet client in person. And now in 2013, you are witness, it was so hard to convince people because there was no video conferencing, and we were a small office.
No WhatsApp.
No WhatsApp.
Hmm.
No, WhatsApp had come that, but the question is that was not that
Correct.
prominent.
Hmm.
But at that time, to convince people that I will not meet you and still I will manage your money, and expecting people to trust their hard-earned money was a big ask. Okay, so if you recall, we were the first one in the country to record the conversation and share the audio link with the client, telling them if you wrongly advise, you can sue us. That's how we start building trust, and that's the journey that you have. So as an entrepreneur, you have to clearly decide what is the value proposition you want to bring to table and how you want to deliver this value proposition in the most efficient manner.
So at Fincart, we have helped thousands of people. I think आज हमारे 12-13 साल हो गए हैं और we have worked helping them people managing the money. And it's a big universe we are targeting it, starting with as age as low like 21 and going as high as like 82. तो ये बहुत बड़ा segment है and we have seen अब तो जनरेशन X है, जनरेशन Y है, Gen Z है and the generation understanding get changed. So I just want to understand कि when somebody in 20s, how his life is different and relationship with his money. And I'm sure when you would be in 20, the thought process would be more or less same what we see in today's generation.
Yes, you're right. देखिए, actually what has happened now, it's like 20 is your power play. कि उस टाइम आपकी शादी नहीं होती, you're not married, you don't have kids. Most people don't have responsibility of parent. Today parents are mainly independent on that age. So it's a good time to run fast. It's like cricket power play. You can score at an aggressive rate. You can take some bold step. But unfortunately, what I've realized that when you are at that stage, and I have done this also mistakes. Okay, I'm saying people try to overspend. I've had problem with credit card. When I got the first credit card, अभी तो awareness बढ़ गया है. In fact, now the awareness has gone up. In my time, awareness was very less. And I'm talking about my journey in 95, 96, okay, that time. So I started paying 5%. Okay, card aaya and you spent and you pay 5%.
5% per month?
No, 5% was the minimum amount due.
Okay.
And then you realize that the charge is 3% per month. You're paying 36% interest. Then you realize, whoa, what a blunder you're doing. So I paid for 3 months, and then I realized my balance was not going down only, it's only increasing. Eventually I had to borrow money from my brother. I said, bhai, please paisa do, I have to resettle this debt. So fortunately that amount was not very big, but I paid off. Then I realized this is a credit card is a double-edged sword. If you can't manage it well, it can cut you very badly. So that was the first learning I had. The second thing was, I, like all people, we want to earn money fast. And for me, my biggest problem happened because I started my journey with equity research and a stockbroking firm. And उस टाइम में NSC नहीं आया था. It was no online training. It was a system where you had to have multiple phones and you had ring से stock exchange से phone आता था कि ये price है, and you used to call client कि ये price है, and then used to have buy sell. And what happened with me, so when you are on the call talking to client always कि ये price है, ये बेचो खरीदो, will I buy or sell, you get dragged into that trading mentality. Okay. So in 1995 towards end, that is the time when 1994 peak equity market peak happened, and then correction started happening. So I had taken some position on stocks like ACC, L&T, Reliance Industries, and these are famous stock at that time. And it was these kind of stocks. Okay, and one day I fell sick. And the market corrected. I was not there in the trading, and that time we didn't have mobile phones, right? Nobody called up. Next day I came, I realized that my loss on that trading was 50,000 rupees.
50,000, 1995.
1995, when my monthly salary was $1,600.
That's huge.
So I literally couldn't sleep that day. but somehow I had to, because in stock market you have to, and especially when you're working, you have to ensure that you'll. This is the first mistake. So then I realized ki, okay, that shortcut doesn't work. But still, you want to make. Second mistake happened when there was a stock IPO which was happening on Tobu cycles. टोबो साइकिल्स का ग्रे मार्केट जो प्रीमियम में बिफोर लिस्टिंग ग्रे मार्केट में ट्रेडिंग होना स्टार्ट हो गया. इट वाज ट्रेडिंग इन द ग्रे मार्केट. आई बॉट द स्टॉक एट अ प्रीमियम ऑफ 30 rupees because I had some friends in the cycle industry. They said it will list at a very high. So I bought from some people, and the stock was not very high. I bought only 2,000 stocks, 30 rupee premium. So I had to pay 60,000 rupees to him premium, and I sold that stock. Okay, at almost 80, 70 to 50 rupees margin I have made. So in 2000 into 50 rupees, I said, yeah, I have made lakh rupees. That was a notional thing. But the guy I sold to 50,000 rupees, sorry, 50 rupees, sorry, 80 rupees, 50 rupees margin, I had to honor the commitment. The guy who sold me at 30 rupees, the stock then eventually went at a premium of 200 rupees. He defaulted. So what was coming out to my gain of 1 lakh rupees resulted in me a 2 lakh rupees loss to me. Okay. So those were very horrifying experience. So by the end of mid of 96, I had very clearly decided कि यार ये trading तो नहीं चलेगा, इससे short करने. Then I started investing in my own self, trying to understand. Then I realized investing was the only way. So that time there was no YouTube, there was no learning platform. We had to learn from our own mistakes. But fortunately, the current generations do not have to go through that grind again. They can learn from mistakes people like us. And I think still people are doing, because I've seen a lot of my Gen Z audience who are spending in crypto losing money. Okay, trading they are moving. That is why SEBI has put so much regulation on FNO trading. You're not allowed to trade because people are losing money left, right, center. So what my message to the from my 20-year learning would be, forget about creating long-term wealth. Just build good money habit. Okay, if you start building money habit by saving a small amount of money each month from your monthly saving, you will be surprised at the kind of wealth creation that will happen at a later stage. Now, I started working at 95 when I was 23. So all my learning, or I was slapped left, right, center in my first 1.5 year. I could do all that blunder. Thereafter, I started building good money habit, and by 30, I had solid investment. I had bought my house, and that was not small amount. 30 is in I'm talking about 2001 and 2. The house was about 1 crore. Okay, and mostly I had not taken loan. I had built up I had my own car. I got married. I got my sisters married. All were done in by when I was just about 31, because of building strong money habits.
So when we talk about money habits, because I can also talk about my 20s. So in 20s, you are full of aggression. You feel I can do everything. But at the same time, you always short with the money.
Correct.
Because you may be not earning what you actually wanted to. At the same time, you would be getting a feeling, okay, ki you cannot fail. That is what the kind of aggression it is. So what should be, if one is building habit, of course, avoiding credit card, avoiding shortcut, what could be the 3 key points in this piece which today's generation would be learning from your 20s, which can make which can help them to avoid these kind of traps?
So one thing which I say is, today it allows automation is there. In my time, automation was not there. But I used to do an old school method. Okay, whether it was stock, SIP was not very aggressive that time. To be very honest, SIP private sector started at 93, but it was not very prevalent in mutual fund. So in our time, we had to look at stocks. Mutual fund we had started, but mutual fund had a bad reputation that time. Okay, so a lot of cleaning SEBI has done by that time. So what I did, I said कि मुझे ट्रेडिंग नहीं करना है. हर मंथ अच्छे बिजनेस में वो जो भी पैसा आता है, आई केप्ट इन्वेस्टिंग. Okay, and that helped. So two things, I learned a lot and invested myself in learning a lot, and by learning a lot and spending a lot of time in actually upgrading myself, my earnings kept going very fast. So by 1997 I was sent to Bombay to set up the office for them, and that year I had actually created a revenue for that company close to about 80 lakhs rupees. That was a very high amount in that. So then I started getting profit share from there. So I started investing my money very prudently, and I used to read balance sheet. I used to keep investing, and this we perhaps you'll be knowing that I bought a couple of shares, okay, and one share which basically helped me to a lot was when I was helping this corporate to arrange money. So I got a balance sheet of Hindustan Zinc, and I started seeing the balance sheet. It was like a gold mine because it was a PSU company. It was not truly valued. So I started accumulating the share at 15, 16, 17, 18 rupees, 20. I kept accumulating. And it was some 97, 98 I started. By 2003, so it took about 7 years, I sold only part of the share to fund my marriage and my sister's marriage. Only that share, one share. So that is the power of saving in a systematic manner, which helps you to create wealth. And I've realized that small savings and compounding become so significant that it will surprise you to no ends. Okay, so if you don't have bad habits, so fortunately I didn't have those bad habits. So, and two things what I said, yes, I was very fond of eating. Okay, I was very fond of eating. I was enjoying life. I used to party a lot. But one habit which I had kept, ki whatever I did was only after I started saving my money. That helped me. Two, and because of all this habit, I made one more mistake, which was more related to my health. And again, this is a big learning. At 27, 28, my 1 crore term insurance got rejected by Kotak Life Insurance. It was the Om Kotak that time.
27.
At 27 years, 27 and a half, my term insurance got rejected. Why? Because my cholesterol level was at 240, 250 levels. Okay, they said at young age you have this. They said ki by that time you eat 30, 35, you will have a cardiac problem. That was a wake-up call. Then I think I did a complete U-turn on my health. So those are the two things which I realized. And I realized that if you want to achieve big in life, you have to ensure that you're physically fit to run at that pace. You have two choices. You can be an average or you be an outperformer. And I didn't want to be an average. I said, yeah, I have to be an outperformer. And to be there at level, you have to keep yourself physically fit. So I actually started turning around from that time.
So you have spoken about loss, and that is what I want your attention, because this is a very important aspect of it. So I said ki 20s mein we full of nature, we're very aggressive on it. So how to avoid or how to digest these kind of losses? Because I'll tell you generally kya hota hai, what has happened. If I've invested something, I made money, then I've invested again, I have lost money as well. Then एक feeling आती है कि मैं थोड़ा सा और करूँगा, I can recover back.
हाँ.
And we have seen a lot of people get caught into those kind of situation. They start with their own savings, then they borrow money, then they further borrow money, and end of the day they get into a situation during 20s time where they could not able to cover up back. So how you handle that situation, because it's a big loss. I mean, 2 lakh rupees.
So till today, whether I was in 20s, till today, I have my own session with my own self. I do my own self-talk. Whether today people call journaling or all, I spend try to understand retrospectively what I've done right or wrong. And if I've done right, I try to keep repeating by doing consistently. But if I feel that I've done something wrong, I have no qualms in accepting that I made mistake and I should be cutting my license. So in that early year, I realized that trading is not going to make money. And fortunately, I have a strong reading habit. So then I read books on a lot of Benjamin Graham, the intelligent investor. I read Warren Buffett's Buffettology, Peter Lynch, Walk on Wall Street. So question this, all this kept repeating and giving me a message that when you invest in company, you buy good quality companies, you hold it, you do not trade. And later on, it was proven that people who trade do not make money. So then I started interacting with a lot of people. So then when I moved to Bombay, so there was a very good phrase used for traders. He says जो ट्रेड करते हैं वो मलाड में रहते हैं, जो इन्वेस्ट करते हैं मालाबार हिल में रहते हैं. तो दैट सेइंग स्टेड इन माय माइंड. सो आई हैव रियलाइज कि भाई you have to ensure that you don't trade. And I am not intelligent, so I said ki let me invest and not trade. So this small basic things helped me to change my entire relationship money in the early 20s and 30s and build a habit which helped me to build lasting wealth for a long time. Okay. And I've realized in life anything that is boring will do good to you. Anything has a lot of fad and fancy to it will not last long. So whether it's investing, whether it's my food habit, whether it's my fitness habit, everything is boring. Today also I almost ran 10 kilometers and came. Okay. So it's very boring and it's very hot in the morning at about 6:37 also. But if you want to do it, you have to do it. And those small consistent effort leads to big results. This is what my simple learning, and that is what has helped me in my journey in 20s and to early 30s.
So it's like getting a rejection of a term insurance at the age of 27 and
running a
having
marathon at this age, at 52.
आज की जनरेशन के हिसाब से बात करेंगे, if somebody is 20s and he's say earning 40,000 rupees per month, this is generally starting salary of most of the organization. So one is building saving habit, one is investing his own. So if he has to decide, quantify ki these are 3-4 things he should be start doing at the beginning of it, because again there always be a dilemma of it whether I should be fulfilling my dream aspiration, क्योंकि हमारे कॉलेज लाइफ की काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें बची होती हैं which we want to enjoy it. So how what is the suggestion you will make to today's 20s people?
दो तीन चीज़ें, there are 2-3 things only. One is whether you earning 40,000, 50,000, lakh, 2 lakh, immaterial. Ideally, the thumb rule says you should start investing 25% of your money. Don't aim for perfection. There is nothing called perfection. It is impossible to save 10,000 out of 40,000 earning. Right? Can you save 2,000 rupees? The answer is yes. So start saving by 2,000 rupees, 4,000 rupees, whatever your budget allows. Okay? Start that simple saving habit, because that small consistent habit of saving is not just about putting money. You are creating a mindset which is telling you that I want to build a habit of savings. Okay, that's 2. If you can buy early at a stage term insurance. Now let me put very differently. I am a guy who does a lot of self introspection and turned it around. But if honestly speaking, if I got rejected at 27 and it did not turn around, do you think I could get term insurance at a later stage? And in today's generation, when I look at my kids also, okay, I mean, they must be thinking that my father only talks about health and all this stuff. They are all eating junk food, a lot of junk foods, okay, and erratic habits. I mean, they sleep late, okay, and they don't get enough sleep, uh, or they work night and then sleep in the day. So I feel that this will have a problem at a later stage in their life. Okay, if they can correct, well and good. If they don't, they should buy term insurance at an early stage. Okay, that is one of the most critical, term and health insurance, and you're starting SIP. Now, term health insurance at an early stage will not cost you much. It's a small premium, but it will give you a lot of peace of mind because it helps you prepare for the future. So these are 2-3 things that you should do in under 40. Don't try anything rocket science, or don't try anything to achieve any exceptional result. एंड डोंट वेट फॉर परफेक्शन कि मैं मेरे पास महीने का 25-50 हज़ार होगा, 25,000, 30,000, 50,000 रुपीज़, देन ओनली आई स्टार्ट इन्वेस्टिंग. डोंट वेट फॉर परफेक्शन, स्टार्ट स्मॉल, build it on.
So, how was your 30, and what are the changes you have experienced in 30s and how you handle it?
Very, very important question. See, what I have realized, if you have done your 20s well, na, your 20s good habit will work as a foundation for building, that has laid a good foundation for building your 30s. Okay, like I said, I was by 30, I had done a lot of I'd achieved a lot financially. But one thing which surprised me then is that I felt, यार शादी हुई है, 1 से 2 है, कितना खर्चा पड़ेगा. Okay, then we had kids, कितना खर्चा पड़ेगा. But it's not 1 से 2, because the aspiration, then your holidays, then your way you spend money, friend, family, the whatever, it multiplies. Okay, and then when we had our first kid, I thought, okay, if I'm doing 100 rupees, spending 100 rupees, that'll go to 120 rupees. But believe you me, it was not 120 rupees. It straight away shot to 150 or 200, because that the cost of raising a child in the initial is very high. So fortunately had laid a good foundation, and by that time I was earning well also. But I felt that if you have not laid the good foundation, you will struggle. 2, in the 30s you have to ensure that you have not only created good money habit, you have to invest in yourself to upskill and upgrade yourself. Your ability, your propensity to earn should also quadruple. Okay, and there's an old saying, no, you spend 10,000 hours doing something, you become an expert. Okay, that's from Malcolm Gladwell book, Outlier. So I would have spent 20,000. So anybody in there started in the mid 25 also, 5, 7, 6, 7, 8 years. If you work for 8-10 hours, you would have actually completed 10,000 hours. By completing 10,000 hours, you have become expert in this. But the today generation, the world is so changing so fast, you have to keep investing in yourself to ensure you keep reinventing yourself. So that helped me to actually keep increasing my propensity to earn. So that I could now, to put that into context, it was not only lifestyle, normal inflation, it was a lifestyle inflation which came in. Okay, so in my 30s when I come, so today what happens? You didn't have, look at the cost, the way it's gone. Okay, let me give you a perspective. When earlier cable TV was there, I'm not talking about the era when TV was there. Cable TV was there, people used to spend 300-400 rupees per month. Now you look at your mobile bill, your OTT bills. If you add up all the things, the subscription that you take, it will be minimum 10,000 rupees.
उस टाइम में तो प्राइवेट डिस्क भी होती थी, that was costing only 100 rupees a month.
Correct. So the question is, वो तो ये कोई भी इन्फ्लेशन उसको मैच नहीं कर पाएगा. The lifestyle inflation is so much. Okay. The peer pressure in the sense, okay, if somebody is moving in a particular vehicle, and you will be under pressure, believe you, whether you like it or not. Okay, and to get out of the rat race, it takes a lot of courage, and majority of people do not come out of that rat race. So there is a comparison on the peer pressure also, whether it's your car, the house you stay in, the kind of party, the kind of uh, gathering you go to, all those will have an impact. So if you don't invest in upgrading yourself and increasing your propensity to earn, so you will be feeling financially a bit stressed out. So that is the time when you will have to start building कि भाई अब मुझे clarity चाहिए how I want. So you have a lot of aspiration and you have limited resource. What you need clarity is कि मुझे how do I now invest my money which is targeted exactly in helping me achieve my goals. कि भाई if I want to buy a house, do I want to change my car, how often I want, do I want to go on a vacation, what should be my retirement, what should be my children education plan, everything should be so well articulated. Now why I'm saying this, today there are tons of study which says what gets written down gets done. Okay, there's a, I can speak hours on neuroscience, okay, and behavioral finance, and there's a lot of books written also. There's a beautiful book which says what they don't teach you at Harvard University, and they took example of those Harvard University people, and only 3% of the people who had a written goal and a plan achieve 30 times more than their peers. So that's the power of writing down, having clarity on the goals. So imagine those people had 30 times more money than their peer. So that clarity in the 30 is very, very crucial.
तो जब हम 30s की बात करते हैं, सो वी हैव टू अचीव एवरीथिंग. आई मीन बाइंग अ हाउस, बाइंग अ कार, and most of time when we make the mistake it in same year, like it start with buying a car because that's the most easiest thing. वो affordable दिखने लगती है कि 10 लाख रुपए की गाड़ी है, 20 लाख रुपए की गाड़ी है, अचीव हो जाएगी. Then 6 months down the line, you would thinking of it कि let me buy a house, the rent has been increased, वो 10% भाड़ा बढ़ गया उसके अंदर. Then you have a habit when you get married, going vacation with your spouse every year, just spending there. Those are things you are also not comfortable to cutting it down. So in 30s, how you prioritize? Ki if I bought a house, then how will I make sure ki I'll not spend all the things? Or even I have to do all three things. Then what are things I should be remembering in my mind?
So with me it was different, but with few of my friends it was very different. So I will share both this example. The company that I worked from, I joined in 2001, and I have stayed with the same company for 12 years. Okay, so in that company, so what I did, I spaced out my major spend कि अगर इस साल मुझे गाड़ी खरीदनी है तो मैं कुछ सालों के बाद घर लूँगा, और मुझे कुछ सालों के बाद कोई अगर मेजर वेकेशन प्लान करना है, तो आई विल नॉट बंडल अप ऑल टुगेदर. दूसरा क्या होता था मेरे केस में, वी हैज़ टू हैव एनुअल बोनस, एंड एनुअल बोनस इज टू बी साइजेबल किटी. सो वी ऑल यूज टू प्लान कि इस साल इस बोनस का यूज़ क्या होगा, तो उससे मुझे यह हुआ. बट मेरे दोस्तों के केस में क्या था कि मैं दे वर नॉट in the same company for 12 years. Okay, they should either get promoted or they used to change company 3-4 years down the line. So when you get promoted or change company 3-4 years, there is a jump in the salary. So use those points to ensure that the additional increase has happened. Now when you change or upgrade yourself in terms of salary by changing a job or getting a promotion in the same company, suddenly your life will not change. Okay, so anyway, buying a house or car is nothing but a lifestyle change. Okay, so this money should be used intelligently. How you will fund those lifestyle elevation, that could be done, and it cannot be done all at one shot. If you do one shot, then you will realize that you are under the burden of EMI most often, and that by nature Indian don't like too much of loan. They feel so much stressed out paying EMI that they feel they are under pressure. Okay, so managing those kind of a jump in your earning with your goals is an intelligent way of actually managing the cash flow, and not bundling all together is another reason, another thing that you should do.
So can we say ki if I have 100 rupees and 30 rupees I have to save for long term things, So then I left with a 70 rupees kitty which I can easily spend. Generally, we have seen the rentals are anything between 10 to 15 rupees the income which I have. So practically I will left with 55 rupees to figuring out what all the expenditure I should be bundling up other than the household expenditure and the lifestyle which I have. So can this become a good yardstick to evaluate ki, okay, if I have 100 rupees at any given point of time, my overall expenditure including EMI should not be 70 rupees or 80 rupees?
See, first of all, your UMI should not be at any given time more than 40% of your earning. That's a thumb rule. Banks will even go up to 50% of your earning, but then again you're stretching it, because then you're left with a very small amount of money to spend on your basic need. You remember, your kids education are there, your own expenditure are there, so those will actually have a problem. So now, what I wanted to say, let me give you the same maths. Suppose if you're earning 100 rupees and now you've got a promotion and it's gone to 130 rupees, so you are already saving at 25-30 rupees. So if you're saving at 25-30 rupees, and if you're not saving, then ensure that you that 30 rupees increase should fund first saving, okay? Because that is going to bulletproof your future, okay? Now, if you're already saving 25% or 30% in that 100 rupees, so and it's gone to 130, so you've got 100 rupees. That additional 30 rupees could fund your capex like buying a house. So my 30 rupees can be my EMI for a home. So that's how you actually plan it. You will never be under stress of actually chasing money or chasing things. You will feel confident. Okay, I'm comfortably placed, and a good 25-30% EMI is not a bad thing to do, because home loan are available at a good rate, and actually I feel that's a good way of acquiring assets. Okay, so that's a good loan to take. I think that's how you should plan your career elevation and your aspiration of funding various high ticket goals.
So हम 40 पे आएंगे. We'll talk about the 40s because it's a different age altogether. The grey hair comes by the time. But एक और चीज़ जब हम देख रहे थे, because I have worked very closely with you. So I've seen you born and brought up in Calcutta, and when you did well, you bought a house in Calcutta as well. But same time, when you did well in your life, you got transferred to Bombay. And then you started the business in Delhi. So हमने एक प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट देखा है घर को लेके कि लोग घर खरीदते हैं 30 में बिना इस प्लानिंग के कि ये जॉब उनका कभी भी ट्रांसफ़र हो सकता है. सो यू बाय अ हाउस, यू बिल्ड अ EMI, यू गेट द इंटीरियर डन, देन यू लिव 3-4 years, देन यू सडनली रियलाइज़ कि आपको इसको छोड़ के जाना है, and then you have a massive loss also one time. Second, we feel that कि लोगों को हमेशा रहता है because you born and brought up in Calcutta, and I can also easily relate with it. How will you made it sure, or how you decided कि I'm moving out from the Calcutta, I have to sell this house?
I thought it's a tough decision. Okay, in fact, still today we have a debate with me and my wife. She still feels that I did a wrong thing, and I still feel that I did the right thing. Okay, and I'll tell you the reason why. Because property after a few years it deteriorates a lot. Okay, and especially after 10-15 years, the property, the entire the CPA system, the water system, the wiring of the house, everything goes for a toss. And that was the one reason. Okay, two, when I set up business, so there was a huge pressure on me कि I should start business from Calcutta, and I didn't want to ensure that so there are two trigger point. One, I saw the property deteriorating, and I said it makes sense to use that money more intelligently in somewhere investing. So I took that decision call, because that rental yield was 2.5%, 3%, 4%, and but I could invest the same money, 1 or 2 crore rupees in a fruitful manner. Okay. Two, I wanted to, whenever it's an old saying, na, you burn the bridge if you don't want to return. So I wanted to burn that bridge. मुझे वो रास्ता ऑप्शन ओपन न रखना ही नहीं था. आई डेंट वांट टू कीप दैट ऑप्शन कि आई हैव टू गो बैक टू कैलकाटा स्टार्टिंग अ बिजनेस, बिकॉज व्हेन यू स्टार्टिंग अ बिजनेस देयर लॉट ऑफ स्ट्रेस. Okay, there are moment of doubt. Let's be honest. There are a lot of moment of doubt that you'll have. Not only you, your spouse will have a doubt whether it's not going, because you are quitting a job at a peak, and then you see, okay, lifestyle might get affected. Whether you compromise the lifestyle or not, the fact that you're burning money, using your money from your saving, puts a lot of stress both on yourself as well as your spouse. These are more psychological thing, okay, to do. So I took these two parameters to use it. Now, if I kept that property, I know it would have been few crore, but that money that I've used have multiplied more here. Now, given the fact that I was in form of finance, I took that call. But for a lot of people, it becomes very difficult, because selling a house is a very emotional factor.
Right.
So you have to balance emotion with rational, and many times we have been able to do that very successfully. Okay, and that has helped me.
So what generally we have seen, हम लोग देखते हैं, for example, कि if I am moving to some other city, so even if I have decided to sell one house, then I try to buy the house in the same city, because now I have a habit of staying in my own house where there is no tenant, no landlord, no EMI, those kind of things. But then you have not bought a house in Bombay. So what made you decide ki buying a house in Calcutta, then selling it, staying in, knowing it, I will not go back, but not buying the house when you know that you have reached to that level where the larger career should be remain in the Bombay?
Very good question, and that exactly what I'm saying. You're in your 30s, if you have well planned, your clarity comes from there. And what clarity gets? So the kind of house that I was staying in Bombay, uh, now it's about close to about a 10 crores plus, but the house out there that time was available to me at about anywhere between 4 and 5 crores. Okay, and my son was studying in Bombay Scottish, so I had to be close to that area. So then I did my maths. If I want to start my business, if I put so much money in buying a house there, so my equation will go out. And what I had done, because I had planned, so I started with I quit in 2012, started business in 2013. 4 year ahead, in 2009 I had booked a flat in JP. And how did it happen? Because I came to a friend in ATS village, which is opposite side from Bombay. I was meeting him. I said, yeah, society अच्छा लग रहा है. He said, why do you want buy here now? Opposite JP is building our entire township. It looked good. So I bought a premium one. That's on our hands. I did not construct. I still have a house there. So now we've taken a possession. So I had done that planning, because I did that math that I will block a lot of my capital there. Hence, I traded off not buying in Bombay, at the same time buying the property in Delhi, ensuring that I have a good quality life. Okay, so I did that, and that's the reason I didn't buy want to. So your financial planning gives you clarity over how you're going to use your money. I repeat, it's within that limited means. If you want to achieve all aspirations, you have to, because I had a startup fund, I had to ensure that I have a good enough reserve for my family quality life to be insured. Okay, if I block a big part of my money, then two things would have happened: either business would not have got funded, bootstrapped for so many years, or my family life would have been compromised.
So one thing is coming very clearly on this piece would be to take such kind of decisions which is against the wind, I would say, because you have a parents, you have a wife, you have a kid involved, all those decisions. So as a individual, I should be spending a lot of time to educating my family about the financial wisdom.
I agree.
Because if they both will not be on the same page, then technically this decision execution would require lot of delay, or it could be like it will not gonna implement as well.
So I think including your spouse in the financial decision is one of the most important thing that I have realized one should do. Okay, gone are the days when men of the house used to take the decisions financial and women were not allowed to do that. I think that's an archaic, old, uh, I would say patriarch kind of a society. Okay, now the world has changed. Women are equally intelligent. In fact, on the contrary, I feel that my wife's sixth sense is far more stronger than mine. Okay, her ability to sense risk is far more stronger than mine. So and I think that gives a good blend to my aggression. So I'm very aggressive by nature in terms of taking risk. Taking, I mean, who quits a job at a peak of his career at 40 and starts something startup? It's the aggression, right? It comes runs in my blood. I come from a business family. So I think involving my spouse in the decision adds a good blend to that aggression where she's more risk averse and actually we make a good decision. So that's exactly what important. Now, there are a lot of women I've seen who are skeptical about being involved. It's not men, not women. I've seen a lot of women also. I should not take decision. I would strongly urge them because I feel that women by nature are far better money managers than men. You look at our mothers, right? वो लोग they used to save money in that rice vessel or something like that, thinking वो पैसे कहीं कहीं ना बचाते, they keep saving money.
They always have emergency fund.
Correct. They have, in fact, COVID, the demonetization, what happened? A lot of women got money out of the cupboard, right?
Correct.
So they are better money managers. They are very good at saving. Their risk assessment is far better. And I would strongly urge not only men but women should also participate in the financial decision of the household. Yes, in today's time, I would also strongly suggest something different. See, our patience to managing or taking nonsense has reduced. Okay, and that is why you see a lot of divorces happening. So I would say, okay, you manage family decision, but the money that you are investing should be kept separate. Because we have seen in our normal financial planning also a lot of divorces happening. Okay, and if the money is too strongly entangled, it becomes a messy situation. Okay, you're forced to sell house, you're forced to, so you should keep your assets in a way that majority of them are separate in your different. Your investment should be your investment and my investment should be my investment, and it should be clearly demarcated. It should fund common goals. Yeah, may you live happily ever after, but the question is, you should also factor the what if question. God forbid something happens, how I'm going to get, what's the exit route? That should be actually well defined also.
So now we have seen this I was also facing during my 20s time. So we have a habit, if the bank reach out to us and giving a good credit card, who have a free movie ticket, someone have a discount on restaurants, someone have a discount on Flipkart. So we intend to collect a lot of credit cards. And when we plan our cash flow, we does not accommodate the cumulative the amount I need to pay. So every time when I was looking at my expenditure, it's like, okay, I am getting this much of income, इतना मुझे रेंट पे करना है, इतना मुझे EMI कुछ पे करना है, इतना मेरा घर का खर्चा है. एंड आई वॉज नॉट टेकिंग कॉन्शियस थिंग कि मेरे पास 4 क्रेडिट कार्ड है और चारों का आउटस्टैंडिंग अलग अलग है. आई हैव टू क्लब and that also I need to be accommodated in the cash flow. And that's where I feel that, so what should be the way out? I mean, should we take too many credit cards? Should we take...
Ideally, you should not have too many credit cards. In fact, too many credit inquiries also reduces your CIBIL score. Okay, so if you have too many credit card and you're over exhausting the limit, that also hurts your CIBIL score. Okay, So what you could do is you can have one or two credit card, doesn't have, but there's no point having a laundry list of credit card, and it doesn't serve that purpose. And two, there will be a at time compulsion of using that credit card, okay, or you bet get some impulse buying. We are human being, okay, and then you realize that you have bought something which possibly is beyond your immediate limit, and that you get into a debt trap. So having too many credit card is also the first step towards getting the debt trap. Okay, if you can avoid, might as well. Now, if you can use the credit card smartly and intelligently, then it's very well. So for example, let me give example. If I have any major expenses to be made on that credit card, so I wait for the statement day period. Okay, how the credit card works. So first 30 days is where your statement period is, and you have to pay in the next 20 days. So you have a credit cycle of 50 days, free money for 50 days. If you can utilize intelligently, do that. So for example, if your statement day is 15th of the month, say 15th of June is my statement day, and if I have to buy anything major, I will not buy closer to 15. I will cross that 15 and buy a 16, 17th. So I bought on 16th, 17th of June. My billing will be 15th of July. Okay, and my payment date will be 5th of August. So I have got 50-day credit. So if you can actually plan all those things, then it's a brilliant thing. It's a boon. Otherwise, it's a bane. It will be a big problem for you. Okay, so you can utilize intelligently, accumulate those credit card points, and you redeem some for voucher and all. There's a smart way of actually utilizing the credit card. So I do it very often, by the way. Okay, I do that very fairly. I do not use any heavy purchase, barring for small fuel. I don't look at the statement date. But if I have to make a major purchase, I am very, very careful or aware of my statement date, and typically buy after that or close just after that statement date.
So, what are the challenges according to you when you were in 40? You were facing it.
Because I will again take two example. I will take example of my friends who are in the corporate world. I'll take my example because I quit in 40 years and I started my business. Okay, so I'll use my example also. I'll answer this question from both perspective. Few of my friends who I've seen in the corporate world, and my own example when I actually quit on my 40th birthday month to start the business. Okay, so in my corporate world, what I've seen is that a lot of my friends, there are two kind of people I've seen. People who are able to completely keep upgrading themselves, okay, have moved up the ladder. Otherwise, what they call is the midlife crisis in the corporate world comes. Many a times you will see that a younger generation, because you have moved up, your salary has grown, and you are at mid 40 or 40, 45, whatever it is, you will realize that the same job could be done by a guy who's 35 at half your salary. And these are real life challenges. Okay, in fact, I had spoken to one of my friends, he will face this challenge, and he actually faced this challenge. He had to quit, and now he started his own business later part. So these are real challenges. So you have to now then, if you start planning in a way that you start investing in yourself for a higher level role. So if you want to beat that corporate midlife crisis, okay, and there and as you move towards a higher level job, okay, it's more demanding on your time. Like now, kids growing, they will demand your time. Family will demand your time. Plus, your aging parents, they will demand time. Hospitalization, they need health. So your time will become very, very important. Okay. So now what I've realized over the years, you should master the skill of how you're going to manage your time is more important than anything else. Now, in that kind of a stress situation where you have a corporate life pressure, you have a family life pressure, your aging parents pressure, would you want a finance pressure to be there? The answer is no. Your finance should be well sorted out so that at least that pressure is not there. And many at times, some of my friend have been able to take a tough call, okay, of quitting the job, doing something less stressful because they want to delegate time to your family. And because I know one of my friends, without taking time, his wife has some issues, a medical condition she has, and they have only one child. The child has gone to the college. The wife would have been staying at the home all alone. So he took a bold call of actually sacrificing a brilliant career at a peak, and he was uh, the could be have been a chief operating officer. Okay, so he quit that job, and now he's taken a consultancy job in some of the is working as a consultant for multiple companies to ensure that he can spend time with his spouse, because that's so that was possible because bulk part of his actually finances are getting funded by uh, the money that is already built in. So these are all real life changes. Now coming back to my situation, there will be always a trade off. Okay, and if you speak to my wife, she will only have one grudge against me, is that in a good part of my children growing here, when I was in 40 to this, when I was building company, I have spent disproportionate time in building the company and not at house. And I give full credit to her for running that part possibly all alone. And I think yes, that's my regret. But I have realized in life you will always have to take trade off. There's no, you can't have the cake and eat it too. Okay, and you have to then decide what your trade off are. You have to discuss with your spouse what trade off is going to be. So in the 40, beyond money, there is going to be a lot of trade off with regard to your time, your priorities, your allocation, what you want to do. And those decisions are, trust me, beyond money. It's all about who you want to be, how you want to be taken, how you want to shape up your life. Okay, so there's a lot. Money is not only about finance and maths. Many times it goes beyond maths.
So, what would be the suggestion for those people who could not able to achieve their financial milestone by the age of 40?
So I would start by saying only one sentence: better late than never. Okay, वो हिंदी में कहता है देर है दुरुस्त है. Okay, so if you have realized in your 40s that you've not managed your 20 and 30 well, it doesn't mean that life has ended. Okay, so what are your major milestone in the 40? Uh, if you have covered your health insurance and term insurance well, so your those medical issues can be taken care of for parents and yourself. What could be the major milestone? Children education. Now, children education could be taken by education loan. So don't stress about it. Okay, you have to find a way out of it. You can take education loan. That problem gets resolved. Now, your higher earning can actually compensate that part. But what is more important right now is that if you live for 80, 85 years, okay, you have for 20 to 15 to 20 years of your active life. You still have 15, 20 years to fund your another next 25, 30 years of retired life. So then now you should become very serious about money. Okay. So instead of panic, you should do a reality check, reconcile your situation, pull down all your assets together, see where do you stand correctly, and then recalibrate your entire lifestyle that you want to build after retirement. And like, so then the other goal could be your children marriage. Now marriage, you don't have loans. Okay, so at least then what you should planning, okay, education I can take loan, but now if my children going for higher education, most likely will be 18 years. So in today's time, nobody gets married before 26, 27, right? So you have got 6, 7, 8 year time. So then you have one more goals that could come in 7, 8 year time. The other could come in about 15 after 10 years. So you have good 10, 15 year long term goals to plan. If you can use your money intelligently, then you still can manage your finances. So instead of stressing, you have to start working on it.
So, one more interesting thing we have seen, because India has become the startup hub. So now the people say my 40 is new 20. So at the same time, the lot of distraction also comes. Like, I have not done the enough planning, but yet I jump into a new assignment. I have not done the enough planning, then I try to experiment to optimize my income, whether in the form of I start trying to do the shortcut, which I was trying to do in the 20s as well. But again, the cycle start in 40s. We have seen that. So how will I make sure that distraction should not be become a reason of spoiling my financial things or creating a much more messy situation? Because 20s it much, I mean, the experiment which somebody would be doing, it's very easy to overcome because you have a time.
Yes, it is easy
but
to recover from 20s.
but in 40s, if these kind of debacle happens, it's very difficult to
Come out
get
of
out
it.
of it.
Yes, agree. So again, that's exactly what I'm saying. So your clarity of how much money you have made, what's your net worth, how much you own versus how much you owe, what's your net worth is very, very important. Okay. So now, if your net worth says that you are in a very good spot and you can take that risk, so that's a call. But do not chase the rat race for the heck of it. Today, the ecosystem is such belong, you don't necessarily need to start your startup. You can participate in a startup. You can become an investor in various startups. Okay. So you have to work very smart. So unless you have a very strong idea, strong calling that I can actually build a business and I am capable, by all means do it. Okay. But then your number clarity should be so strong that God forbid if this business does not work out, what is my plan B? My family life should not suffer. It all this will come from your planning. Okay. Yes, I agree. Because what has happened, people are far more healthier right now. Okay. People are living longer. Okay. Lifespan has gone up. Medical advancement has increased the lifespan of people. So you can actually take a plunge at 40s. But have a very clear understanding what you want to do and how you're going to do. And is it going to be a big business or it is going to be a quasi employment? Now I'll give you some insight from Rich Dad Poor Dad. He has very clearly said ki employee and small business in the left quadrant. Okay. E and S, employee and self-employed. If you're moving from employed to self-employed, then it does no joy. On the right side of the quadrant, B, big business and investor. Now what that says, left side of the quadrant, which is E and S, account for 95% of the people. They own 5% of the wealth. On the right side, B, business, big business and investor account for 5% of the population. They own 95% of the wealth. If you're able to transition into B or I, by all means do it. If you have idea for business, go for it. If you don't have a great business idea, then become an investor. Okay. And then be a part of the wealth creation journey. But do not experiment for the heck of it. And while doing so, ensure that your aspiration should not jeopardize your family's well-being and their lifestyle.
So 40s would be the time where we should start building the focus, avoiding distraction, and the habits which we have built it to be scaling it. So as we get transition to 50s, and this would be the age where people get into a very retirement age, how I should be generating the income. What is your view on the retirement? I mean, how when you are getting retired? If I
I
have
will
to-
I will never get retired. Okay. No, not that. So I will not get retired from. So I will say simply, I will retire from work, not from life. Okay. And what do I mean by that? See, I have already created my plan. If I retire, what I'll do. Okay. So, and I'll tell you the reason why. I've seen my own father-in-law. He was very, very active. What I read, the moment he retired, and the mindset कि अब तो कुछ करना नहीं है, your physical activity reduces, then I've seen the health deteriorate very sharply. Okay. On the contrary, I've seen some of my couple's father friend, they have kept them mentally engaged, physically engaged, and socially engaged. Okay. I've seen them, they are enjoying retirement much more better. So if I wish to retire, I will retire from active day to day working, but ensure that I have enough uh, work that fruitfully occupies my time. Okay, that will help me to enjoy life and not regret it. And that will also can happen if I create a multiple source of income by way of dividend, by way of investment, by way of investing in rental, whatever form I have. If I create a source of which gives me a peace of mind, finance perspective, then I think retirement planning becomes far more easier. Okay, and my strong advice to people is don't retire just because you are going to 58, 60. That's unfortunately uh, India has such big population in the lower age bracket that they cannot create job opportunities. But across the world, people do not retire at 60. Okay, we have seen Charlie Munger dying at about 96. Okay, okay. Warren Buffett just announced retirement at 94. And so questions. That's how they retire. So it's not necessary that you have to retire. You have to get yourself fruitfully engaged. Ensure that you keep working. Otherwise, your mental age, you mentally you decay, physically you decay, and socially also you will not be engaged.
So it's like not stop working, but stop worrying.
Yes, absolutely, very well said. Stop working, not worrying. Stop worrying there.
Correct. When we talk about 50s, so for you, what legacy mean to it? Because हमने देखा है कि one will writing is okay, but changing the behavior is also become very very important. And in India, childrens are little reluctant to speak with his father of their money, how that going to be transit. Even the fathers are reluctant to speak their money with their children, so they know the worth, what exactly it is, but the decision making, the transition, we have seen that it does not happens in India. So what is your view with respect to the relation in 50s with money and with my kid should be ideally?
In fact, if I have to talk about, I will give three things as a thing legacy to my children. And uh, see, we are talking 40, 50, but it may start mid 40s also, that conversation, because by the mid 40 or late 40s, your children go in college, they become sensible, they're good to understand. I think that's the time that you start having a discussion. So if I, as a father myself, I would rather give few things. One is ask them to build one skill. Okay, a lot of people give a lot of emphasis on just uh, education, scoring marks, which I have refrained from, which I have actually allowed. I have allowed Adil to think on his own. So one, I would ask them to focus on skill, not on marks. One hobby that they will feel what enjoy, what they can do. Now that could be anything. Okay, and third is I would try to share how to manage your money, because our education system teaches you how to earn money, they don't teach you how to manage money. So apart from sharing my wealth, I would like to share these things. Okay, now family values and all are different things, each family will have different, but as a father, I would want them to have this, knowing that at each stage how they will keep upskilling themselves, how they will become better at what they're doing at each with each passing year. A hobby, a fitness, whatever they do, they should be something which will keep them, which can distress them in actually in this fast paced world. Okay, and and that will also create a good social circle. For example, now if you have a good music liking, you can have a good music group, or like my son, he plays a guitar, so he has a good group of people, they jam at times. So these are distressing, and you build a good social circle around it. And third thing is money managing. So it's not about giving money, telling them how you can manage, how you can keep growing the wealth. Because I have, in my personal experience, uh, this was a real life example. It happened with my elder brother's friend. So he got a lot of money inherited from his father in terms of business and all. And it so happened that he blew it everything. Okay. And I'm talking about a time in the mid 90s or early 90s. They were having a 3-storied building. Okay. And it was a big thing. That building would have been worth 40-50 crore right now. But because of his bad habits and not able to retain wealth, they eventually had to sell that building also. Okay. So I think giving money is easy, but telling them how to manage it with the right set of values and keeping some checks and balances, and see when you transition. Don't give them all right away. Okay. Let them transition that journey. Okay. Give them small and then gradually release the string. So on a good thing, I'll tell you. So I had met a doctor in Bombay when my mother was not keeping well, and this guy comes from a very very small humble background. And when he started his first chamber, his mother was furious. He said, "Why are you getting into business?" He said, "Mommy, being Gujarati," he said, "I want to build something good." She was very reluctant, but when he became started successful, and that time, then later he built a hospital, because and and this because of proximately for short term requirement, I used to get my mother admitted there because I could manage her very well. So I'd become very pally with the doctor. So then we were chatting around this. He asked his mother, "Why were you stopping me that time?" He said, "See, when you are young, you have all aggression, तो थोड़ा रस्सी खींच के रखना पड़ता है. You have to have a strong rein. And gradually, when I realized that you don't have bad habits, you're going in the right direction, I slowly release the string. And now when you're good to fly, I've let you go." Okay. So same thing will happen with money. When you are transitioning money, you have to follow the
So
same
that
philosophy.
reminds me a very interesting piece of it. तो इंडिया में दो strong community हैं. One is Marwadi and second is Jaini, है ना, Gujaratis. So हमने देखा, and since you worked in the financial background, so I'm sure you would have worked very closely with this community, being in Bombay and especially working in the mutual fund industry. So what is the one thing you have seen how they pass their legacy to the generation? Because we have seen it's happening from last 10, 12, 15 generation, where they continue to know how to make money.
See, very, very important. You cannot teach your children anything. I'm repeating, you cannot teach your children anything. They learn by watching you. Whether they will tell you or not, you teach them by your actions. And you look at any Gujarati and Wadi family. With money, they're so good. And all my credit off as a businessman, I give to my Gujarati and Wadi friends. They are very clear about the money part. And they have inherited from their generations earlier. Okay. Father, grandfather. So they clearly demarcate how they're going to use the money, how it's going to be distributed, why you should not waste money, why should you care about money. पैसा से पैसा बनता है. A lot of things happen. And my first education on business with Marwari, I was in college. I went to my friend father was dealing into wholesale FMCG business, and in that wholesale FMCG business, we went from college because he had to deliver something to his father, and I was watching, and I was shocked. That was an eye opener for me. उस packets and packets of Colgate उस time था Colgate I'm just taking a real example Colgate का packets toothpaste came and it big cartons and he actually his father distributed to the retailer who came to shop doctor and the invoice was in front of me because his father had given to एक बार तू check करा मिला ले I was seeing the invoice in front of me and his father was selling literally at a very small margin. I said यार इतने कम मार्जिन में पैसा बेच रहे हो कैसे हो रहा है how are you selling this small? He said I'll tell you later on. Then later I asked me, he said no, you were thinking we are running a FMCG business, we are running a lending business. मैंने बोला how? So he said देख सुन simple है, the FMCG business is, this company is giving me money in credit product, मुझे इसको पेमेंट 45 दिन 60 दिन में करना पड़ता है 45-60 डेज और मुझे रिटेलर से पैसा भी एडवांस में मिल रहा है ईमेल मिल रहा है तो अगर मैं 3 से 5% रख रहा हूँ तो उसको मल्टीप्लाई कर ले 3% भी मार्जिन रखता हूँ 2% मार्जिन रखता हूँ इंटू 6 हो गया 2 महीने का होता है टेक्निकली इससे क्या मेरा वो 4% का ब्याज है 4% इंटू 12 का 48% मार्जिन ठीक है ब्याज का बिजनेस है दूसरा है टूथपेस्ट बेच दिया गत्ता बेच के पैसा कमाऊंगा he said I was shocked that clarity now imagine my friends learning there so you have learned that becomes in your blood that's how you learn so those people have become great not by just talking to the people by leading by example showing by the action so as parents we should lead the right example. Ab now imagine as a parent, if I don't follow a healthy lifestyle, if I am not eating clean eating, and I talk to my children about give gyan about healthy eating and lifestyle, will they listen to me? They may not talk to me back because of courtesy, okay, of a respect to a father, but in their form they have more form one opinion. So same goes with money. If I am following good money discipline, mud habits, my kids will by default learn that.
So if I have to summarize this, so like in 20s, building habit, automating the system, avoiding credit cards, not getting into unnecessary expenditure, investing on, become a key reason to be better off in terms of financial thing. When it comes to a 30, like aligning the goals, taking the learning what I have seen in the 20s, investing on, reorganizing my goals because there's a lot of pressure in terms of achieving all the goals at the same time. It's more like alignment. By the time we would be in 40, like more of building the momentum, not getting distracted with the lot of thing, plus maintaining the health because the lot of commitment towards in the family. And by the time the 50 come, it's more about getting a mental peace, forwarding that legacy to the next generation. So I wanted to understand हमने जो business build किया when you were और हमने starting में भी इस पे बात की है इसके अंदर how we could able to address these kind of segment in a different age group because one thing could be I have a choice to make common for everyone है ना but as a company how we have made things very different for people for 20 30 40 50 to make it sure that one suit will not fit for all and it should be a different for everyone.
So I think very good question again. So I'll tell you, it's not that finance way it's managed changes. Finance has to navigate to your priorities. Okay. For example, when we are young, we eat anything. As we gradually go old, we become conscious, right? Now, if you look at your father or mother, they will not eating those junk food, right? So it's not that because your body itself will show signal. Same with money. In the initial year, it's a year where you are trying to build strong foundation, and if you start early, you can create a good platform, and you can get a good platform for jumping from there. In your 30s, your priorities change. You are no longer single. It's all about having a joint aspiration. Many times your aspiration, your wife aspiration, your vice versa, spouse aspiration, if it's a female, uh, so that will be different. So I think having clarity of what you want to achieve, how you want to achieve, how you want to pace that journey, that clarity is very, very important. And that alignment to that goal and clarity is something that we as a company also we focus on, right? Then later part of the year 40 is a year when your income disproportionately becomes bigger to your expenditure. So that's the era where you are going to try to score at a high run rate. You are play some hard hitting shot, good investment, some aggressive investment, could be alternate investing in startups. You try to build momentum so that your 50s, 60s, 70s become very good.
If this resonate, then share a story and comment your age. We will be coming with more such kind of sessions who can talk about more behavioral aspect of the money and not the technical aspect of the money, to understand कि managing money is not just a science, it also an art, and how we should be changing our behavior over a period of time when it comes to managing money.